The morning sun filled the city with soft golden light, but inside Noah Verlin, everything felt uncertain and heavy. As people walked past him with confident steps and fluent voices, Noah stood quietly, feeling left behind in a world that spoke a language he struggled to understand. English surrounded him every day, yet it felt distant, like a door always just out of reach. In that bright daytime moment, Noah wondered if he would ever truly belong in the future he dreamed of. Before we continue, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of learning through real stories, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Brightlyecho. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that are still searching for hope. Noah had once believed that learning English would change everything. As a child, he used to sit near the window during the day, sunlight warming his face as he listened to English movies and songs. He didn't understand every word, but he felt the emotions, the courage, and the dreams hidden inside them. Back then, he believed one day he would speak confidently, travel freely, and express his thoughts without fear. But life slowly pulled him away from classrooms and closer to responsibilities he was not ready for. Financial struggles forced Noah to leave school early. He began working at a delivery warehouse, where days were long and voices around him spoke fast, fluent English. Instructions were given, jokes were shared, and meetings happened, but Noah stayed silent. He nodded, smiled, and avoided speaking, afraid of making mistakes. Each day, the sun rose and set while his confidence shrank a little more. Grammar books at night felt cold and confusing, and memorizing words without meaning only increased his frustration. During lunch breaks, Noah sat alone near the loading dock, watching sunlight reflect off metal doors. He listened to coworkers talk freely, wishing he could join them. English no longer felt like a dream, it felt like a wall. A wall between him and better jobs, better conversations, and a better version of himself. One afternoon, under a bright daytime sky, Noah wandered into a small second-hand bookstore near the warehouse. Dust floated in the sunlight, and the quiet felt comforting. As he browsed the shelves without intention, a thin book fell to the floor. Its cover was simple, and its title spoke about learning English through stories. Curious and tired of failing the same way, Noah bought it without thinking too much. That evening, as sunlight faded through his window, Noah opened the book. Instead of rules and difficult explanations, he found a simple story. A story about an ordinary person facing ordinary fears. The words felt alive. They had emotions, actions, and meaning. For the first time, English didn't feel like a subject, it felt like a voice. Noah read slowly, understanding through context, feeling instead of translating. Something inside him shifted. The next day, Noah read another story during his break, sitting in the sunlight. He imagined scenes, faces, and emotions. Words started staying in his mind naturally. Days passed, and stories became part of his routine. Morning light meant reading. Afternoon breaks meant imagining. English slowly became familiar, not because he memorized it, but because he lived inside it. Weeks later, Noah noticed changes. He understood conversations better. He answered simple questions. His voice still shook, but it didn't disappear. One afternoon, when a supervisor asked him something, Noah replied clearly. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. For the first time, he saw surprise turn into respect. Stories didn't just teach him English, they taught him courage. They showed him that mistakes were part of growth, not failure. Noah began speaking more, listening more, and believing more. Sunlight no longer reminded him of what he lacked, it reminded him of progress. Months later, Noah stood in a small interview room filled with daylight. His hands trembled, but his words didn't. He spoke honestly, using the English he learned through stories that once felt like simple pages. When he walked out, the city felt different. Not louder. Not faster. Just more welcoming. Before this story ends, I have a small request. Please comment below and share which part of this journey felt most real to you. Your words may inspire someone who feels exactly like Noah once did. As the sun set that evening, Noah sat by his window, reading another story. He realized something powerful. Language is not learned through fear, it is learned through feeling. Through stories that mirror our struggles and remind us that growth takes time. If this story touched your heart, encouraged you, or reminded you of your own journey, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Brightlyecho. Your support keeps these stories alive, lighting the way for others still searching for their voice. As Noah turned the pages, he noticed something magical happening. Each story was like a window into another person's life, filled with struggles, laughter, and small victories. He read about a girl who had been afraid to speak in class, a man who failed his exams countless times, and children who dreamed under impossible circumstances. With every word, Noah realized he was not alone. Others had faced fear, confusion, and doubt, and they had found ways to grow. The stories became mirrors reflecting his own struggles, but also lamps lighting a path forward. That evening, as the sun dipped lower and painted his room with gold, Noah decided to try something new. He didn't just read the stories, he whispered them aloud, practicing the words, letting them roll off his tongue. His voice trembled at first, faltering over unfamiliar phrases, but he didn't stop. Each mistake felt smaller than the courage it took to keep going. By the time the streetlights flickered on outside, he had read through 2 stories, spoken them, imagined the scenes, and felt a quiet pride that he hadn't known in years. The next morning, Noah woke earlier than usual. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, and instead of fear, he felt anticipation. He carried the book with him to the warehouse, placing it in his bag like a secret treasure. During lunch break, while coworkers chatted in English around him, he opened the book and read a few lines aloud quietly, letting the words sink into his mind and body. Passers-by might have seen just a young man reading, but for Noah, it was a private rebellion against self-doubt. Each line spoken aloud felt like reclaiming a part of himself that had been buried under years of fear and frustration. As the days passed, Noah began experimenting. He tried repeating storylines to himself in different voices, imagining characters and conversations, acting them out silently in the corners of his mind. English words began to feel like friends instead of enemies. He laughed quietly at silly mistakes, corrected himself, and tried again. Every story became a teacher, every paragraph a step closer to confidence. His world, once muted by doubt, began to fill with the colors of possibility, illuminated by the golden light of daytime hope.